Gus, it's good to have you again on Metal Assault. We have the first Firewind album in about 5 years, Immortals, which came out in January, and I think before this you put out two solo albums. So, why and how have you gone back to Firewind now? After doing those two solo albums.
The whole idea from the start was to do another Firewind album whenever I felt ready and whenever I thought I would have good enough material. So that time came now, basically, and it was just the right time for us to do a new record. It was really simple as that.
Right, but obviously you write the material for your solo albums, and you're a big part of the writing process for Firewind as well. So personally, how do you make the distinction between the two? Because obviously I think it's important for you to keep them separated from each other, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's pretty easy for me to do that because Firewind is like all the classic heavy metal, like more, all my sort of Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, or maybe more like Euro power metal ideas. It's pretty easy that okay, I know that's gonna be like a Firewind track or something, anything that sounds like that. Whereas on my solo records, it's either gonna be like the hard rock stuff that I do, or like these crazy '80s instrumentals or something.
Right, that's cool. And so you always had this at the back of your mind, even when you were doing the solo period for the last 3 or 4 years, that you were always going to go back to Firewind.
Yeah, I mean, it's my band. I started since I was a kid, so I didn't see a reason to stop. Of course, we've gone through a lot of lineup changes, and especially with singers, and that can hurt the band after some point. But not only myself, but the rest of the band guys also felt that, hey man, we worked hard for this, and there's no reason why we should quit, and especially since we have still fans out there that want to hear from us.
Right, exactly. And as you were saying, in terms of the musical styles, there's a separation, but I feel that there's also a separation in the fan following too. I mean, I think some of maybe more the Aussie fans or fans of guitar rock or metal shred guitar, they like your solo stuff more, and Firewind has that power metal, that old school metal fan following. So do you kind of feel that difference as well?
Yeah. I would say like the solo stuff that I do, like the audience, obviously the core of it, I must say, it's still Firewind fans because that's where they know me from. And but then again, like you say, there's a chunk of Aussie fans that come in, but also a lot of guitar players. So in a sense, because my solo project is still like in its beginning stages, so I'm trying to also finding like a new audience. And I'm aware not all Firewind fans are digging that stuff, but the majority of them, they dig it, and they've been supporting me too. Yeah.
Right. So when did you actually start working on this, on Immortals, and how long did it take you guys?
I mean, we started working on the album officially last year, obviously, writing more seriously about it and collecting all the ideas and putting it together. But a lot of the ideas they go back even to 2009. It's a collection of riffs and songs that I've had from 2009 and then 2013 and onwards up until basically last year.
Right, that's cool. And as you were saying, you've had lineup changes mainly with singers, and I think, first of all, how do you pronounce, what's the right pronunciation, Henning Bass or Henning Bass?
Henning Basse.
Basse, okay. So
yeah.
He's your fourth singer to record on a Firewind album, and I believe he's not a newcomer, so to speak. He's been in Firewind before as a touring member, and he's been in your solo band. So
correct.
Was that just like an easy decision for you to go with him for this album, since you already knew him?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we just, because a lot of names were thrown in the mix, and maybe we should try out this guy or that guy, and then maybe we should talk to whatever. And then I reconnected with Henning, and I'd lost touch for a few years, but then we reconnected in 2014 when I called him up to help me on some of my solo shows. And then the next thing you know, he's out with me touring Europe. And then I'm like, well, this is the guy. Like, he's still looking for a band apparently, and we're still looking for a singer. And we know the guy, and he can sing our back catalog, and he's a good friend. So, I mean, there you have it.
Right. So, do you feel a big difference though with him singing as opposed to the last few albums? Because you had Apollo for most of those, I believe, and now it's Henning for Immortals.
Well, anytime that you have a new singer, the identity of the band is going to slightly be altered because the voice is the identity of the band. Luckily, Henning falls into the category of this genre of music, and he fits really well with our style. He is still different from Apollo and the other singers, but he still has kind of like a similar background, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So it's not like we got a glam rock singer or something. Or it's not like we all of a sudden we got some guy singing opera or something. It's still like classic heavy metal. I think all of our singers, like the background is guys like Dio or Coverdale or stuff like that, we like those thick voices, mid-range voices with a lot of with some grit on it. So yeah, I think Henning fits very well, and like I said, Henning is a more appropriate power metal singer, I would say, because he's been considered, not now but for many years, especially in Europe, one of the best power metal singers of our generation, and we were also like surprised that he, even up to now, he hadn't been picked up by a bigger band so far. So like I said, it was a good opportunity for us and a great opportunity for him to finally find a band to call home.
Right, exactly. So talking of singers, of late you've been touring, especially in North America, with James Paul Luna of Holy Grail, who I'm a really big fan of, and I was actually fortunate enough to see the show at the Grove of Anaheim during the NAMM weekend. With him.
Oh, you were there? Cool, man.
Yeah, exactly. So how did you find him? Because I think it's almost like a match made in heaven, like James Paul Luna and Gus,
Yeah, cool. Thank you. I mean, Holy Grail was on my radar for a while. I knew of the band. And my old A&R at Century Media, who later worked for Prosthetics, Steve Joe, he suggested him because I was looking for a singer to help me out on my American tour last year. And Steve kind of like put us in touch. He introduced us, and I just gave it a shot with him. We went out and we became really good buddies, and the guy is, he's just an amazing frontman. He's a great frontman. His voice is amazing. And he's just a wonderful human being. And I hope we can do some more stuff with Luna in the future.
Right. But for the time being, though, with Immortals coming out, are you going to focus touring with Firewind and with Henning as a singer?
Oh yeah. I mean, Henning is a singer of Firewind for sure. What I said with Luna, I meant for my solo stuff. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, our tour starts next week in Europe. But then I'm going to do also some solo touring in the spring. I'm going to Japan, and then also doing an acoustic tour with Steve Stevens in Europe. And then Firewind comes back again, and we start playing all the festivals here in Europe. Well, I mean, not all, but a few of them. So it's going to be a busy time.
Right. So now that you're kind of on the Firewind cycle again, do you kind of put aside the songwriting for the solo stuff, or do you still keep working on ideas as they come to your mind, recording little demos or whatever?
No, I always write stuff, and I already have like 7 or 8 ideas for my next solo record. I think both projects are going to coexist now. So it's going to be I'm either going to be touring with one band, and then when Firewind's on a break, I'm going to be doing solo stuff, and then vice versa. When the solo stuff is on a break, then Firewind's going to come out. So I think it's going to be both at the same time, or maybe kind of try and split it like to 1 year each, depending on what offers we get, of course, and what the interest is out there from promoters.
Right.
Sometimes you want to control things, but you can't, because like when opportunities come, and you just have you just can't miss out on it, and you have to do some stuff. And so we're gonna try and balance it out for sure. One thing is for sure, it's gonna be a nonstop 12 months a year work for me, which is a good thing.
Right. And maybe like one new album every year, whether it be Firewind or solo.
Yeah, exactly. That will be like the perfect scenario where we don't have to shove each project down people's throats every year continuously. We can take breaks with Firewind, and then I can take breaks as a solo guy, and then go back to doing Firewind, and that'll keep it refreshing for me as well.
Right. So, I mean, based on the show at the Grove of Anaheim, that you were a support act there. You played about 40 minutes, and I think you had songs from Firewind and solo. But when you tour with Firewind, obviously it's only Firewind material, right?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that's the band that has 8 albums.
Yeah.
And my solo thing is still like in its beginning stages. And with a solo band, it's kind of interesting. It's a because it can be like a mixed bag. You know, I can go out there and do obviously stuff for my solo albums. I only have 2 albums now, but obviously the catalog is going to keep growing at some point, and then that's going to take the biggest chunk of my set list. But now, I can go out there and play that. I can keep Firewind's music alive when Firewind is not playing. I can play a couple of Firewind songs. I can throw in like an occasional Aussie cover because people love that stuff, or maybe even, sometimes we do some covers like Sabbath or Thin Lizzy, which I love. So it can be like a mixed thing, and then of course there's the instrumental part of it where I can do some instrumentals as well. So being solo, it gives you like all these different platforms. I could even go out there, like I said, I'm going to do like an acoustic tour. So it just gives you different options.
Right. So talking of NAMM, I think Jackson Guitar launched your signature model this time, and I think you signed with them last year, changing from ESP. Having a signature guitar at a company like Jackson, I think that's like probably a dream come true for any guitar player. So like, how do you feel about that, and like, how do you feel about the guitar in particular?
I feel really good being with Jackson actually, because, and I like the fact that they are keeping their signature line very selective. It's not one of those companies where everybody and their mother have a signature guitar. So that makes it very special for me, and it makes it a very big honor that I was chosen to be given a signature by Jackson. I mean, it's they have a great team. They're very passionate. They're very ambitious. Of course, they have a lot of great plans, and the guitars themselves are just fantastic. What can I say? They are. I mean, the sound is just, because I A-beat it with my previous guitars, and I was really blown away by the sound, and I thought I would give it a try. It was a really good chance for me to move on and do something else, try out something else.
Right.
Yeah.
So in terms of the playing and the feel of the guitar itself, like, did you feel a big change from ESP to Jackson, or was it pretty much, did they kind of cater to what you needed?
Well, the specs are more or less the same, but even if they are the same, each manufacturer does some different tricks here and there. You know what I mean? So they will feel, if you pick up both my Jackson and my previous ESP guitars, they will feel mostly the same, but still very different. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the two things that I look into a guitar is obviously the playability, how easy they feel like, and of course the sound. So yeah, I mean, Jackson definitely meets those expectations.
That's awesome, man. Gus, I think that's pretty much all I had for this interview, man. I'm glad we finally got it done. Always good to talk to you, and all the best with everything, man.
Same here, buddy. Thanks for the support, man.
All right, man. Take care, dude.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.